Everyone enjoying their Sunday? You feel that life is but a joke. Is life but a joke? There's a good subheader. Is life a joke? I had a beer rant with my friends. You checked it out, okay? Menachem Feuer, you know, and we just filmed our beer rant. We just broadcast it. One of the things I talked about those words remind me of it, like the Matrix. God made a matrix for you to live in. You know, I found, Rabbi Merkur posted this source, I think it's from the Alter Rebbe. A good source. God just makes this drama for you, tailor-made for you to get close to Him. I expressed it in the form of heroism, that God makes you the hero of your narrative. So that was one of the things that I spoke about in my beer rant, right? My beer rant, sounds like something that's it's a passnished. It's like, you're gonna go on a beer rant? Come on. What kind of guy does that? So, when you have straight people coming on and seeing that, I don't even mean straight in the sense that I get nearby where I live, which is ultra orthodox, right? Okay, let me just turn this stuff off. So there's a lot of there's voices that just exist when you're in different environments. Good morning. There's different voices that come with the environment. Okay, they don't have to be said. They could be read within a person's words if you're very sensitive to nuance. So when someone comes on your page and says, why don't we hear something about the Parsha? Okay? Or Rosh Hashanah, or whatever it was. Now this guy that did do this, I really respect him. In the top 10. Okay, now I don't even know him that well, but I know him pretty well. And he's a really good guy, an exemplary human being. And he's a straight guy. His father's an amazing, warm Chassidish Yid. Comes to my house, asked the kids questions about the upcoming holiday, which was Pesach. He was delivering my matzahs. We were just a favor. Really nice guy. So this is his son, and he's also a beautiful person. But no relationship's perfect. You're going to have some areas where you're going to have a little friction. And it's not necessarily bad. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Because those are the encounters in your life that God's creating for you, this drama, for you to be the best you could possibly be. That's the drama that God's giving you. In order for your, who you are can be brought out. Okay, is now my tie on right? So there's voices that tell you have to have your collar up. Chassidish people like Rabbi Wagner, one time his trouser leg was in his sock coming out from the mikveh, and I told him, because I'm a friend of his, I care about you. So he says, so what? I said your trouser legs and your sock. Talmud Chacham has to. This is a person that rolls in the cholent sometimes in the right moment. He'll roll over the cholent on purpose to make a point that he doesn't care if his collar's up or his thing is like this. Often he would be like that. The whole day he could have his collar like that. He doesn't. I don't know if it's not for everyone. It's not everyone's Aveda, but it's good to see that there are people that are just beyond that, at least that stigma, or I don't know what the word is. Pressure, social pressure. You're not allowed to have your collar up like that. You can't. You look stupid. Someone's gonna screen capture that and say, this is the dude. So when you're doing a beer rant and a straight guy comes on, a guy you respect. And why do you respect him? Because of these things. That's why you respect him, because he cherishes holy things. He doesn't want to see a yid with the beard talking shtus on a beer rant. Talking about the Matrix? What kind of shtus and hell is that? I mean this honestly, in a way, if I didn't grow up with it. Or whatever, if it's part of who I am for whatever reason. Maybe I fell off a cliff once and I started watching the Matrix. I went on what do they call it? A Matrix, you go on a binge. You go on a Matrix binge, you watch the whole day, you just burn out. Can you imagine? So it's looked down upon. And these are the voices. What's the plural of moose, though? Okay, check this out. I wrote a haiku that I want to share with you. This is going to relate. You'll see. Because this is what inspired this talk. Or vice versa, one or the other. Moose hops in my beer. Rant. I have this image of like a moose head beer. Guy, me, drinking. I was drinking this. What's it called? Stella. On my beer rant with my friend Menachem Foyer, who is hilarious. I watched it this morning a bit while I was tying my shoes, and I don't have laces on my shoes. I'm making things up, right? He's hilarious. I was watching. That should go viral. He's hilarious. He's like the real thing. I could tell raw talent when I see it. Okay, I saw about this when he was just raw talent and no Sony label. I knew right away, I wonder if I knew about my friends that they were destined to superstardom. My two best friends growing up. I wonder, do we appreciate everyone, or sometimes you just have a knack for it? The people that are closest to you, you're less likely to see their true greatness. The people closest to you. Those are the people that will never hear your beer rant. They will not sit there through it. So if you have a very gentle, worthy, kind soul that comes on your thing, I'm not supposed to say all the praise of someone in front of him if he ever walks on. I don't want to insult him by saying all of his praise, because then it's like, that's it? Okay, there's not this other thing. So when someone says to me, why don't you speak on the parsha? Even if they tell me that on my Shabbos table, I'm like, I feel like I'm being controlled by these. Don't give me any controlling voices. You want to hear a parsha word? Learn a parsha word. Say it. I don't know. What do I have to speak about the parsha all the time? Yes, it's good to speak of the parsha. Speak about whatever. Speak what's on your heart. Speak what you care about. Speak what you're into. I can't pretend I'm into something if I'm not. I have to be genuine. I can't just speak. It's maybe a worthwhile assignment for myself, that just in case someone asks me to speak of the parsha, I don't have to have that like, oh, you're trying to like, now you caught me. No, I don't know. They're not testing me. They want to. That's what people relate to. It's just like a thing, or whatever the thing of the day is. I think it was Rosh Hashanah you asked me to speak about. Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah is this day of grandeur, majesty, and terror, when you just fear approaching the king. But what kind of king are we talking about? Elul is a time when the king's in the field. What kind of preparation is that? I'm writing about this today. Maybe I'll be so, what's the word, imposing upon you to just read my thing. It'll help me, but I don't know. Maybe not. I just want to speak about moose. The plural of moose is moose. If you have one person in your life that you might say is a toxic environment to be around that person, and you know what? It's not just that person. That voice echoes to other people in your life. Different aspects that might trigger you in some way that you have in one relationship echoes and resonates with other people too. There was a post that I saw someone said, it was so, you think you're going to be able to find me in someone else. I promise you won't. That's a beautiful quote. Every person's unique, but on the other hand, oh my goodness, that's the counterexample. It's like one or the other. That just slugged myself up. If one of them's true, one of them's false, right? There's no way to reconcile that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. But this is the idea. The plural of moose is moose. Sus v'reichle rachav alov, is that the words? Sus, it's one horse to God. Sus v'reichle rama bayom, rather. One horse. God sees as one horse. A horse is a horse-in. Oxen. Moose. What are you telling me, moose? If you have one moose, a nice moose, a kosher moose, I think moose is kosher. Has anyone had nice venison lately? Isn't a moose like a deer? I wanted to say moose because it's moose head. Moose head beer. It's like my hops in my beer, my moose head beer. There's hops in it. That's what gives it its flavor, right? But it's not, he's not hopping into my beer. The moose isn't actually jumping into a vat of beer, or like he's a tiny moose, he's going into my mug of beer. He's jumping into my beer rant. He's telling me my beer rant is Sapasnish. You have a beard. You're wearing I was wearing a baseball hat for this reason. I was undercover, right? The plural of moose is moose, meaning you have that voice not just here. It's not the first time you heard that voice. Everybody's telling you in your head you can't do that. You know who I learned that you can do that from? Rabbi Chaim Miller, my good friend of Gutnick Chumash fame. Okay? I love you. You taught me. Wear the colored shirt. See, I'm wearing my colored shirt. I haven't broken that thing yet in my head because it came from a rabbi. It's a bit harder for me. The Rosh Kollel. He made fun of two things. Guys that wear blue shirts. That was a phase in those days, right? Everyone had to have a darker color blue shirt. Then you were like, get the most attention. But he said, chassid should wear a white shirt. And the women who go to the, I don't know how he knows about this. Maybe his wife told him. Oh no, that's not. He's an alman. How do you say it? He's a. No. Okay, you love it when a word slips my head. But the word moose will not slip my head. That the plural of moose is moose, meaning that voice that resonates in other people is just a single voice. It's just one moose. I don't care if there's 100 meese. Moosin? No. It's a moose. All the voices, the 100 voices, the 1,000 voices. It's a moose, like in Matrix 2. There's like 1,000 of this dude. How you just take the pole and whack them all like with a baseball bat, okay? That's Inglourious Bastards, right? You just do that with you're Superman now. So if you go on a beer rant or you start talking about something that has some meaning to you, maybe it's when you're tying your shoelaces in the washroom or something, you're watching Matrix because you think that, I'll skip the negative, the really bad parts. So, like, it's not the end of the world. So there's a voice that tells you, you can't be a rabbi and know about Matrix. There is such a voice. And it doesn't apply to everybody. I know some people don't care. It's a threshold of sensitivity. A wise person gave me that expression. I like that. So the plural of moose is moose, meaning that one voice that you have that drives you crazy. And you know what? It's not just that one voice. It's echoed. That same idea is echoed in every single guy in your neighborhood. Mr. Rogers too. He's echoing that. If you don't wear the cardigan and the sneakers indoors, because Chas v'Shalom takes some dust into my house. So you have special house shoes and slippers. I want to wear slides now. Slippers are passé. Karate. So if you're going on a beer rant and talking about karate, who is this guy? Chas v'Shalom that you're going to represent the terror. I'm not saying he said this guy. I'm liking him to a moose, not just for humor's sake. I mean, I love this guy. But it's a voice, it's a sensitivity that I'm very in awe of, that someone could have such purity to be offended if someone's talking about the Matrix because he has a beard. He's wearing a baseball hat right now. I was wearing actually colorless shirt that night. That was I did it in fact, but I was like, I'm wearing a white shirt, probably wear a white shirt every single other day till Menachem gets me back in that bar or a bowling alley. I hate bowling. To me, that's the most goyish thing in the world. I challenge him to the Boruch Merkur bowling challenge. I will do something I hate just for the comedy because I think it's so ridiculous. I spoke about Fred Flintstone. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, Fred Flintstone. I was at I had it for bringing this. The Bachram and the Yeshiva asked me to bring. I mentioned Fred Flintstone because, oh my goodness, it was a crazy topic. I was talking about the primordial snake that exists in the mountains, the great mountains, and it guards the tower where the princess lies. And the king, you get this princess if you're the dragon slayer, you slay the dragon. You have to approach the dragon's lair, the terror of approaching these great mountains where it lives in to protect this tower where the princess is on. It sounds that way, that the princess isn't there. So everyone fails. Their arrows just bounce off. It's like it's a dragon with the scales and protecting. It's not a normal beast we're talking about here. It takes Raya Mahemna, the faithful shepherd, to come, Moshe Rabbeinu, and with sharp arrows, one after the other, he hits him in his gizzard. No, he hits him in his liver. Sounds like gizzard. He hits him in his liver. That's his Yisaidei Ve'ikare. It's the Yisaid. And what's this Yisaid? It's the Davak B'mare the Veha Nukfa the Sitra Achor. It's the Samach Mem. It's the Kel Acher. This force that appears as a liver. And Moshe Rabbeinu knows how to pierce it in its liver, its source, its whole foundation. And think about what a foundation is, because it's comparing this to the other type of union that you'll eventually have when you merit to kill the snake in its yisaid. It says that explicitly in this work, okay? Tikkun Azar. And win the hand of the princess. So therefore you can have a real union, a meaningful union, productive union, positive union. This is, what the snake is? It says that so the point is that it's proboscis, it's snake tail. Its whole thing that a snake is basically a tail. That is, it says, Yesaris, I think was the word, of his kaved, his marashkar, his addiction to bitterness, the cynicism. The cynical person is the sin of the icicle, being cold, the opposite of naive, right? The other naive is the other extreme. You have to have that childlike simplicity and wonder. You have to be mature about it. One time I got reprimanded in shul as a Baal Tshuva by Rabbi Lipsker, my mashpia, Rosh Yeshiva. I was like dancing a bit like Jim Morrison, right, at the Shabbos rant, going around the bima, because I thought that was cool. And he said, like that. And that was enough. That was, gotcha. He was my mashpia. I'm going to do what he says, especially in that very vulnerable time in my life where I'm just saying, I don't know, teach me. That's a very vulnerable position to be in. But the snake is not the vulnerable type. This snake embraces its addictions, it hates them, and it causes, he embraces, but he hates that he embraces it, and it causes him anger. That anger is expressed from his kavod, where the bile is, that bitter part of you. It's expressed in his tail, it says there. And he lashes out and he kills with it. That's how he killed all the other people that were shooting arrows. You don't even have to get close to this thing. You just have to aim in the Yisaidei B'ikare. The Yisaid and the Iker, the root. So it has this image of this proboscis, this SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, I was sometimes SpongeBob SquareBeard, but the real thing, it's disgusting the way they just portray such vile images. And that's the image of the serpent. It's this proboscis. It's the extension of the feminine aspect of a kaved. It comes out as this masculine-looking proboscis, snake, like its tail. And that's how it kills people. So it killed even Adam Rishon. That's how powerful and horrible this beast is. But Moshe Rabbeinu uses his tefillah, which is the arrows, and it gives, what's the word? Double entendre. Yeah. Double entendre. Isn't that the way you say it? Is any French-speaking people here? So this beast. So they're speaking about that the arrow, the string. He pulls back, and the string shoots these arrows, and it comes from the mayach. It goes down the whole system. It gets large. Look it up there. I spoke about it the other day. Anyways, I'm fascinated by it because I was looking for the story for a long time. Story. It's a Tikkun Azar. I didn't know where to find it. Found it. I was so happy. So I spoke about this at the Fabringen. That was a bit risque. You don't do that in front of Bachar. That was weird. So the plural of moose is moose. My beer rant, if you're going to hop into my beer rant, and it may appear to me as like a moose head thing to do, don't worry. I see you as a lovable moose head. I want to embrace you. I love you. Okay? So don't be offended if you hear this. I don't think you'll hear it, but whatever. I don't mean it that way. I'm trying to make a bit of a comedy out of it, like a moose head beer, and a moose jumping into my beer, but it's into my beer rant. So like, and if you're gonna try and be one of those voices that tells me, you know what, it's a pasnish, it's not appropriate, I respect you. I have to protest it, and it's worthy, I think, of my attention. The whole idea is a worthy thing. You have to be sensitive. Rabbi Markel posted something from, I think, the Alter Rebbe again, about how you have to care about the voices. You have to be sensitive. And I don't think it says there that you have to defer to them, you have to act on them, and it doesn't even say that you have to walk respectfully away from them. But when you do hear them, be mindful of them, consider them. I think that's the message there. That's how I reconcile the two differences. Okay, now am I going to impose on you editing help, or I'm going to say it's really late and there's a voice that tells me I have to daven with the minyan? There's such a voice. It's so powerful. Someone asked me, why do you have to daven? Why do you have to daven now? They didn't know. They're asking me, why do I have to daven now? I'm anxious, right? I'm agitated. It's getting late. I gotta. So I thought about it. I was like, okay. The only reason I could really think about it, besides the other voices that, don't like you schlepping things out, be with the program. But there's a major stigma if you don't want to daven with the minyan. You don't really care. I don't really care. Why? Because I have to prepare. I want my davening to be genuine. I want the Mashiach is Messiah. It's a dibur. It's the thought. It's the muse of speech. I want it to be genuine. I want my speech not to be just da words, but that the thought, the kavanah is there. It's real. And until I'm ready to do that, nice minyan, great idea. If I don't have the square one of what davening is, which is not just a minyan, but it's connecting to God, if I don't have that, I'm not ready. I'm up at 6 in the morning, 5:30 actually. I was up at 5:30 in the morning. What, I'm playing pool all morning? Give me a break. Everybody has responsibilities and they're all holy. Oh, so that's the topic. Every single thing you do is precious to God. It's bikurim. It's a loving, devoted gift that you bring to the holy temple to serve God. Every single moment. And it gets to this very metaphysical idea of what time is. I'm going to just read this to you because it's getting late. I'm just going to read and you're going to think about it. I don't care if it's moose or mis or misen, mises. It's moose. One person is, that's the flip side of this. One negative voice is like, it might as well be 1,000. It will just be one. I'm just going to, thank you, I'm walking away. Or the flip side of that, what if you have one positive person in your life? You should be so lucky to have one person in this world that you can really confide in and relate to and care about. That is a gift. One person, it's moose. Okay, that's how I look at this guy. In the positive, the flip side of it. That's the moose. That's plural also, because everything is in that one person. That's the sort of, I said the difference between the olden days where there's polygamy and now there's monogamy. I'm suggesting, how could Shlomo Melech marry 1,000 but you're not even allowed to? How could he do that? I spoke about that before. It's the same idea that you see nowadays. Our Rebbe could never be polygamous like Shlomo Melech. He couldn't do that because you'd see everything in that one person. That's the emphasis of our generation. It's more microcosmic. We're getting into the details, the subtleties of life. It's only visible at the most intimate levels. So you have to have that intimacy of one-on-one, not like Shlomo Melech. He did not keep them in a stable. It speaks about his stables also. They were fantastic. Tens of thousands of racing horses to Shlomo Melech and war horses, military horses, ceremonial horse, every type of horse. But those were not his relationships with his wife. We're talking about tzaddik. So there's also laws about not distancing yourself. So there was some obligation, at least some. Maybe for a king it's different. I don't know. But I'm saying, what's the difference here? Why we wouldn't expect that of the Rebbe to have more than, that doesn't happen. Though some were widowed. That was the word I was looking for before. And I think they took another wife. Rabbi Marash, was it? Or I don't remember who. Sorry. God's first and finest. God's first and finest. That's my translation of Bikurim. Good morning, Yosef, my awesome friend. Good morning. God's first and finest. Does the time we spend in the field in Elul really prepare us to approach the king's palace in Tishrei? Is there much to be gained from an entire month of mundanity? Haim yimei sachil, ve'einam yemim tevim, the Alter Rebbe writes. They're days of chil, the mundane. They're not holidays. You could ride your bike on a Tuesday in Elul. You can't on a Tishrei when there's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur on that day. Or you can, and you could like find a way to do anything. Do it on your hands. Just put skates in your hands on Shabbos. So Elul is that, right? It's the king is in the field. If I'm a jester and I'm standing on my hands, God's with me there. But watch, it gets more intense, especially when you put it in the light of Bikurim, taking the fruits. What are the fruits? Blessed be the fruit. Blessed be the fruit, right? Is there much to be gained from an entire month of mundanity right before the so-called high holy days? Do you call it that, the high holidays? Are you? Is that what you get high about, the holy days? People, be genuine. Don't go to shul once a year. Decide, is this shul important? And then have a regime where your diet is like regular and everything should be regular, right? A regular system. The Rambam says it's the number one law of health, and someone should talk about it. I'm not the guy to do it. People should talk about these things. Once someone gave me a whole speech about that in the mikvah about how you're supposed to clean yourself. He's talking from a halachic standpoint. I don't know if it's disrespectful to the mikvah or it's disgusting, or I don't know what he put this whole chart, like huge. You know, you did a Bristol board project when you were a kid. He did that size, okay? If I remember correctly. He was serious. You gotta describe it graphically what you have to do. Just what I need first thing in the morning. Thank you. It is fascinating that just over a week before Rosh Hashanah of Tafshin Nun Tas 1992, the Rebbe ascribes profound significance to the most mundane of all activities, bestowing even them with the accolade, Bikurim, God's first and finest, fit to be presented before God in the Beis HaMikdash, which become as sanctified items in the Holy Temple. That's a quote from the Sikha. You bring things to the Beis HaMikdash, they become holy. And that's the mitzvah Bikurim. Whatever you bring into the Beis HaMikdash. I don't know. Don't bring your ukulele. Unless you're a Levi, then you could bring a ukulele. Or if you're married into the kahuna or the levia, you're allowed to play music in the Beis HaMikdash, but only Leviim can sing. So I have to work on it. Menachem maybe could. He's a singer. God chooses the Jewish people as the Bikurim of the entire world. That's to reciprocate. Midah keneged midah. God corresponds reciprocally. Jews bring the first fruits of the earth that God has given me. He shall leave it before God your Lord. Blessed be the fruit before God. Okay, that's our religion. What does this mean? The Rebbe goes on. Jews are Bikurim. Thus their purpose is expressed not only in serving God with Torah study and mitzvahs, but in their very existence. They are presenting themselves before God in the Beis HaMikdash, in the most intimate environment with God. The Kumaz, and it was donated. Okay, that's awesome. Everything else in the world was created for them, for the Jewish people. Bikurim represents an end unto itself. You just present yourself before God, your existence, the fact that God created you, and God created the entire world for you. So you are the precious, the choice. That's why you're a partner in creation, and the whole world is created for you. God consulted with you in creation. Every detail in a Jew's life, says the Rebbe, including things that have no overt connection to Torah, every moment in time, every point in space, every single thought, spoken word or action is therefore an end unto itself, and not a means to something else. Every single detail in one's life introduces to the world something that is entirely new, being purposeful unto itself. All minutiae thus invoke the obligation to say, Bishvili nivra ha'olam. But see how the Rebbe translated it? Bishvili, for my sake. The Rebbe adds, for the sake of this particular detail of your life, some experience, some moment in your life, the world was created for that moment. For that single moment, whatever you're doing, tying your shoes. Tying your shoes. Having a Moosehead beer and just having a laugh with a friend. That is precious. And not only is it precious, I'm not ashamed of it. I'll do it. I don't care if someone gives me the biggest accolade, to use that word again, I love that word, of Rav Shabarav, I don't know, Mara da Astra, Eine Ha'eda, Adir Shabir, what's the expression? Mighty of the mighty. No one's going to do that. I'm not even trying for anything like that, but I just want to be myself. And that self, that moment, whatever, when I'm tying my shoes, to me, to God rather, is the most precious thing. God cares about that moment so much that he recognizes that you're giving him that moment like Bikurim. You know, the Bikurim were given with often like a silver bowl, a plate, a chalice to contain the diamonds, you know, the tears. God, here, because we reciprocate one for one. God recognizes us as the most precious, so we take our most precious, the first fruits, blessed be the fruit, we give that to God. We give ourselves to God. Every moment we're giving to God, when we're tying our shoes, that is ultimate precious of God. All aspects of the world, every moment in time, etc., are included in a single moment, the Rebbe says. Okay, remember I was speaking about time before and the view of that? And I was saying that's the typical notion of time that mystical writings talk about. Every single moment contained in one moment. All of time in one moment. It's raining big time here. It's Sunday, I could walk in the rain, right? Every single moment of walking in the rain. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Can you sing in the shower? Can you sing in the rain? Have you ever gone for a walk in the rain? I'm about to, probably. Mundane or not, each moment contains everything and is a gift of devotion to God, the first few fruits presented in the holy temple with love and joy. This is my own words. This is romantic idealism to the extreme. And I'm attributing it to my Rebbe. Every single moment the Rebbe says, when you're sitting in the beer, in the pub, and that is precious of God. Bikurim. Finest. A gift. Devotion. That moment when you're laughing with your friend, because that constitutes normalcy, wholesomeness, being genuine and recognize yourself, balabatishkeit over yourself by looking inside and knowing who you are and being proud of that. Good morning. I am proud to sit in a bar with my friend Menachem Feuer. I'm proud to wear a stupid baseball hat. Why? I want to wear a baseball hat. Why? I don't want to wear a fedora all the time. Give me a break. I'm off duty. No, chas v'shalom. I'm not a chassid off duty. I know the Rebbe said you should wear when you go out, you should wear a fedora and a hat and jacket. You should wear a hat and jacket. I know that. And I'm interpreting it the way that I want to do it. If you don't like that, you do it your way. That's fantastic. I love you for it. The Rebbe said, incidentally, about walking in the rain. He says there was someone, and the Rebbe's doing this. He's giving a voice. He wants his voice heard. And, I spoke about negative voices. There's positive voices, too. And obviously, everything the Rebbe said is positive. So he said he saw a bachar with an umbrella. He says he never saw a soldier carrying an umbrella before. That's how the Rebbe saw his chassidim. Sees his chassidim. There's soldiers. And there's emissaries, okay? Both. You walk with a hat and jacket. I think a tie also. I think people are wrong to not wear a tie. But I think the Rebbe made comments to tell people not to wear a tie. So, okay. That's still up in the jury. You would think that to the extent each moment is precious and eternal, the more emphasis should be placed on capitalizing on opportunity and not sufficing with the mundane, the elul, right? I gotta add those words. The elul, being in the field. Sorry, I'm like typing on our thing. not wasting a moment for anything, but avert religious activities. The question strengthens when you delve further into the Rebbe's incredibly mystical definition of time. And I'm going to go say one more idea here. It's about time itself. It's fascinating, but it's also particularly as time applies to how I view my Avodas Hashem. So it does play on the idea of how you interpret anxiety. Should I run to the minyan? So it pertains to that in general. So after I go through this idea of time and this very philosophical, very deep, very mystical idea, it's going to be hard. Hang on with, just try. It's hard. Do it. After that, I'm going to try. I don't have an answer. I haven't finished yet. I have a few hours to come up with an answer. So maybe by reading this, or someone here can have an idea how I'm going to answer. I'm going to tie this into the beginning of why we have Elul, a mundane. That's how we prepare to go to the palace of the king with mundane things. You should prepare for the thing as it is, like a dress rehearsal. Pretend you're in front of the king. So it's a special time. The king himself is wearing the garments of the field. This is the time of Elul. Oh, there it is. I hope I remember this. I can always rewind. That itself is the point. To recognize that this is the king. The king is the one that went in the field. Why? To schlep you out of the midbar, the desert, the wilderness, the place that you cannot plant, the unproductive life, the dveikus and the mara of the world. That's the serpent, right? That's the negative aspect of Nukva, the kaved, the tail sticking out, this proboscis, this disgusting SpongeBob SquarePants creature. Ugh, disgusting, vile, literally vile. So since the kingdom's in the field, okay, I stand telling you the answer before I tell you the question. Look at this. How are we to conceive of time? Is the Hasidic understanding of the passage of time and the significance of the present moment consistent with the popular notion of, and now I use my own words to describe the popular notion, always already there? That the now, the journey, the Avodah itself contains within it the destination, the future destiny. The Rebbe describes an even more elegant and sophisticated notion of time as it pertains to our relationship with Hashem and to the presently unfolding redemption. Because the Rebbe in the footnotes has this incredible thread, because they jump one to the other, cross-reference each other, about Merachafas al Pnei Hamayim, the hovering spirit of Elokim, which is the Ruch Mashiach. The spirit of Mashiach existed from before existence. That was there. That was the first thing there. Before God created the heavens and the earth, there was the spirit of Mashiach hovering on the face of the water. What is water? It's raining here, right? It's water. Matzmichin kol minei tainug. Water is the source of pleasure. Blessed be the fruit requires water. We don't get that because we don't know about agriculture, but that is the history of our psyche, is based on that parnasa. Especially Jews in Russia, they relatively encourage people to be pastoral and be farmers. It is possible and thus necessary that from the very beginning of serving God, this is a sikha now, is possible and thus necessary. Anything that's possible is necessary. If what I'm saying is possible, if I'm talking about keiches that the Rebbe, I'm quoting sources of course, but if it's possible, all these things that the Rebbe says are different now. If it's possible, it's necessary. The Rebbe always says that something's available to you. You have a treasure chest you're sitting on. Get off it, turn to it, look at it, put the key in, open the thing up. So the Rebbe says, and what does that mean? He says, bring Mashiach, do one extra mitzvah, the Rebbe says. That's how you bring Mashiach. Be confident that mitzvah is going to be the one that's going to unfold Mashiach, because how does Mashiach unfold? In a personal relationship with you, and that is your geula. God's going to give you everything. Why? Because you're a partner in creation. I don't say this because I don't believe it. I'll jump off a building rather than not believe this. That sounds crazy, but okay, I'm dramatizing it, but there's a philosophical truth to it. If the world isn't the way the Rebbe says, I could do better. The Rebbe's world is a world of meaning. It's not just the mad matrix machine creating a reality that has no meaning at all. No, this is God's matrix, God's narrative that he creates for you, the precious, to be the hero and heroine of the story. I say heroine more readily than hero for some reason, because I see myself with respect to God. It's like the Jewish people are like this female, vulnerable, thing of just looking up to God and God's looking down on us. And Shir Hashirim is founded on that idea. So that's my romantic image of approaching God. It's like a vulnerability that characterizes the feminine more. It is possible and thus necessary that from the very beginning of serving God, the Avodah of the Jewish people in the world should not reflect the current condition. This changes everything. How do you view the now? The now is not just the now. Check out, there's a more sophistication in the Rebbe's idea than just this Zen idea that you could just say on the back of a cereal box. The talk on the cereal box. Religion is the smile of a dog. Oh, smile of a dog. I've spoken about that at length. Look back 4 months, 3 months. From the very beginning of serving God, the Avodah of the Jewish people in the world should not reflect the current condition. After the creation of the world and the descent of the soul into the physical realm. It's a descent. So now we're in descended mode, right? Should we say, yeah, I'm weak now? It's not just a weakness, it's a sorry main of the ruler of the world. That's the feminine, that's the real Malchus, the ruler of the world. It's not a vulnerability to anything but God. That means you're the partner in creation, queen of the whole world. That's what you become through vulnerability to one. Just one. There's only one relationship, okay? You don't know the milkman, the mailman don't exist. You have a relationship with God that goes through the milkman and the matrix and the shoe guy. And my father once told me that before he was a lawyer, he worked as a shoe sales guy. Rather, it should express the future state of things. You don't live in the now. You live with the power, at least, of the future. Before we said, as Rebbe says, every moment contains past, present, or future. Okay, I experienced that as a hippie, my first Grateful Dead show. Yes, I confess, I don't care. I gained a lot from that. I don't recommend it because it's terrifying, but I gained a lot from that. I knew that there was a mystical world, and now I know how to get there without having to risk everything and think that like a snake is coming out of my throat at one point. That's terrifying because you want to do something about it. That's a psychotic moment. You have to overcome it. Because I saw people going literally crazy with this straight jacket. The whole thing is horrible. I don't want to describe it. And Baruch Hashem, I never. Yes, everyone in my family's a lawyer, including me. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a law degree, but I have a Jewish law degree. So we're all lawyers. That's my joke. Rather, it should express the future state of things, how it will be in the future era. That's the way you see yourself now, as you will be in the future era. I was looking for a source. There's my source. That took me a year to get that source. That's even longer than this Dragon Slayer. The Rebbe continues. The future era, it gets more complex. The Rebbe continues. The future era is akin to the past state of things prior to creation. You thought it would end there. The now is the future. No. What's the future? The future is the past. This weave is so elegant, so beautiful. If you spoke Yiddish, you'd probably get the same geschmack as I get out of translating it into English. The Rebbe wants this to be my interpretation. My words. Words are an interpretation. You cannot help it. So it's just like coming through my filter, whatever filter. Hopefully that I'm lending more beauty to the English expression of this. Because maybe that's more palpable for some people. At the point of origin, prior to descending to the physical realm, the true existence of a Jew is apparent, being one with the very essence of God. That's what you really are. So what are you now? You are the future. What's the future? It's the past. What's the past? You are the essence of God. At that primordial height, the world also affirms how God alone fills the entire space wherein which he created the world. God's not just in you, he's in the entire world. There is only God. Taking on this mindset, says the Rebbe, makes it easier to complete the intent of creation and making for God a dwelling place in the physical world through our deeds and our service. You have to take on mindsets to accommodate the mission that we are given. Check out the footnotes here that the Rebbe says. It's all about Mashiach. As stated regarding the beginning of creation, the spirit of Elohim hovered upon the face of the water. This refers to the spirit of Melech Mashiach. So all of creation, the beginning of time, that's Mashiach. before time. The word hovered, oh, I actually tried, yeah. I said in past tense, I think that's correct. The word hovered, merachefes, no, that's really, sounds like this present tense. It's important, actually, now that I think about it, but because now we're talking about the tense. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in the past tense for now. The word hovered, merachefes, contains the letters resh, che, ches, pei, rapach, alluding to rapach nitzutzim deteyu, the 288 sparks of chaos. The purpose of these sparks of godly energy unveiled in the world through our deeds and our service is the revelation of the spirit of Melech Mashiach. You want to bring the first existence in the world before the world, which is the spirit of Mashiach. You want to bring that into the world? That's alluded to in the fact that it hovered meaning it's the energy of Teyu. You want to, the revelation of the spirit of Mashiach is done through refining, interacting with the world, going to the beer place and laughing with a friend and not feeling like there's anything wrong with that. That's how you bring the spirit of Mashiach, by being genuine, by saying, you know what, I think a beer place with my friend is a good thing to do. I'm not ashamed of that. I think everyone should go out. I think Rabbi Wagner should go out for a beer. I think he'd be way better off. He's never going to do that. And he's got his shita, and I respect him for it. I think I have a different shita. You know where I got my shita from? I told you, Rabbi Miller. Chaim Miller. He's right. Be yourself. Wear the funny glasses. You look cool. He wears cool glasses. I respect him very well. I went shopping with him. Hilarious. I would love to have a video. I don't know if maybe he's shy. No, he's not that shy. Look at the video that I posted. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Hilarious. There's real personalities around us. See that sometimes you're in the same room as them, you might not even know. See the heroes that are in front of your face all the time. Okay, maybe that's enough. It goes on. Maybe that's enough. It's 11 o'clock. What am I? They'll close the place. They'll literally close the place. Should I go weiter? Maybe I can start here tomorrow. I'm almost done. Let's just finish my page, okay? We started something. Check these words out. The purpose of these sparks of godly energy unveiled in the world through our deeds is the revelation of the spirit of Mashiach, which hovers merachefes since the moments of Genesis. And the Lamb lies down at Broadway. The revelation of the spirit of Mashiach, which hovers merachefes upon the face of the water, is especially achieved through increasing in the study of the inner dimension of the Torah of Mashiach with charifus. It's the same word. And the word charfu we're going to see. Charifus, merachefes, rapach, nitzutzim, it's all related, the Rebbe says. Through increasing the study of the inner dimension of the Torah of Mashiach with charifus, sharp, keen intellect, the positive sense of charfu, scorn. The flip side of scorn, says the Rebbe, is sharp-mindedness in understanding the inner dimension of the Torah. A reference to those who scorn ikvas meshicha. Meshicha. Elus shecharfu ikvas meshichacho. Meshichacho. Okay, got it right. When the footsteps of Mashiach can be heard approaching. That's the ikvas meshicha is the footsteps of Mashiach. Like you're on the threshold of redemption right now. Open your eyes. Rebbe said this a lot to do with like military events, historical events that were unfolding before our eyes at the time. I think now, I'm saying now, it's an inner journey. It's not so much the hurricanes, though. Yeah, it's not. Okay, we had that. We're done that already. Say that in reminiscence. Now have an inner journey also. Yes, you should go to all the scenic tours and tourist attractions. Do that. Do it. Not to say that I did it. To be with the people. You have kids or whatever. You have, I don't know, people you want to show a good time. Try and be there for them by being a human. By taking off the fedora sometimes. That's my opinion. I don't mean to insult somebody. A Jew has the power of Balatishkeit to bring about a change and innovation in time and space. Yisrael sanctifies time by sanctifying the new moon and thereby establishing the upcoming holidays of the month and space, says the Rebbe. So a person has Balatishkeit, you have power to change time and space. Now I'm going to try and tie it back in with the fact that the king comes out to the field to inspire you, comes out to the field to show you that your most mundane life is precious bikurim, diamonds. Well, with the diamond encrusted, what do you serve something? And what's the, probably a woman knows the names of the things in their kitchen. I don't know, what's this called? Their salad bowl? Is that how you'd serve like grapes in the as bikurim in the base of English? Would you put in a giant salad bowl? Or would you have another word for that you would know? Tupperware? You use Tupperware? Diamond encrusted Tupperware? Nah. Chalice? I don't know. Someone give me a word. I gotta go. I don't have to go. I'm gonna chill out for a bit. Chalice reminds me of chill out. Oh my goodness, we could write a haiku with that. Chalice suggesting the idea of chilling out. But guess what? Oh, I took the keyboard off the magnet thing. I gotta write a haiku about chalice meaning chill out. Oh yes, I got it. Golden chalice. 2 pints of beer. Spill out. Golden chalice. Golden chilling out. My kids say chillax. Your kids say that? Oh, a chutzpah to tell you to chillax. What a chutzpah. Don't chillax me. Okay, I was born in a different generation. You don't chillax someone from my generation. You say something else. You show respect for, that this is like a guy that's stuck in the dark ages when it comes to these stupidities. Chillax. Okay, coming from you, I accept it with a smile. Like my Rosh Yeshiva would say that when he got smacked, his father, when his teacher smacked him, when he came home crying, his father danced with him. You dance when someone cares enough to say, you know what? And if you don't like them, walk away. Don't bring them back into your world. Don't. But if you respect them, my Rabbi Lipsker, my Mashpia, would smack me like this. Smack me like this in the forehead, so I do that to my kids. And he'd do it with a smile, like a big, white-bearded Moshe Rabbeinu smile. Rebbe smile. He looks like the Rebbe. His finest moments, his smile just like a reflection of the Rebbe's face. Okay, thank you for the chillax. Thank you for the mises, and the moose. It's just one moose. It's one person. You have one relationship in the world. That's your moose, someone who makes you smile. The moose head beer, or the, what's it called? The funny cartoon? Funko, I don't know what his name is. Someone must know that. That funny moose character. Elm? I don't know his name. It's like old, okay. It's beyond chillax. That is very sweet. Then you're my you're a fish partner in me. We're fish, like the first official. Someone asked me, made that joke to me, like, do you like fish? Why are you asking me? I like fish. Because that would mean you're an official rabbi. Like I have to eat herring to be an official rabbi. I have to wear a fedora. I can't go to the beer place. So now, you're my first official mushpa. I thought I had one person as a mushpa once. I helped him become from, I think, at least one person, which is a huge schos. Huge. Okay. That was beyond long. But I loved it. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.